Naš gost je Evropski komesar za sudsku politiku i proširenje Oliver Varhelji. Welcome and thank you for your time at the beginning. I would like to hear you, what is your view regarding the current demonstrations and conflicts between the church on one side and the state on the other? And is there a room for some sort of EU mediation in this ongoing dispute that has practically paralyzed the entire society, suppressed all other important topics for our future?
In this kind of issues, when it comes to religion and the institutions of religions in a country, the European Union has not much to say. On the other hand, of course, it is part of the Copenhagen criteria that church and state would have to be separated. Now, the point I have been making to the Prime Minister was, and this is the point I'm going to be making also to the President, that they hold special responsibility, and I would encourage a dialogue with the Church and also to come to a mutually acceptable solution. But this is just a humble suggestion on my side. We cannot interfere in this debate. This is a purely internal debate. But I think this is something the outside world is very much looking at, how this is going to be sorted out. And a mutually acceptable solution is the key.
Talking about special responsibility and dialogue, is it natural for you that the president of Montenegro uses the term movement of madmen in this tension situation? How do you comment the campaign from Serbia regarding this issue on the other side? Are you concerned what kind of outcome this kind of attitude may have?
I do not wish to participate in the internal politics of any of the accession countries, but as I said, there are clear criteria set in the Copenhagen criteria that needs to be respected, and I can only encourage to get a solution. I have tried to talk to the Metropolitan, I have tried to talk to the Prime Minister, I will try to talk to the President. What I have seen is that with goodwill this could be solved, and this will have to be solved.
You suggested that Montenegro and Serbia switch to the new model of negotiation, stressing that at the end it's their choice. Will the EU become more involved in the process that should bring about strengthening of the rule of law, considering that lately there have been complaints from various addresses in Montenegro that the EU is not paying due attention to the Western Balkan countries? And what's going on the internal plan?
The reason for coming up with the new methodology was that this new Commission wants to put back on the agenda as priority the enlargement to the Western Balkans. In that, the new methodology is only a first step. The next step is going to be to get agreement to start accession negotiations with North Macedonia and Albania. And the third will be a major economic development plan for the entire region. And this will show our stronger commitment and stronger will to reach out for this region. Coming to Montenegro, yes, I have encouraged the Prime Minister, and I will do the same with the President, to speed up the reforms and to return to an accelerated pace. We are ready to move faster. My pledge at the European Parliament was that at the end of my mandate, which is 2024, 4 years basically from now, we will have to have at least one country ready to join. I'm ready to work for that with Montenegro, so that Montenegro can become one of it. But it means that work needs to be speeded up. It means that the Parliament will have to be complete. It means that we will have to have free and fair elections. It means that all the political actors should work for our national common minimum, so that all the reforms that are necessary for Montenegro to become EU member state can go ahead.
How would you assess reforms in Montenegro in one sentence?
They are advanced, but lately they have been slowed down.
How about complaints that from some addresses that you ignore serious internal issues supporting the stabilocrats, Western Balkans at any cost? What do you say on that?
We are not turning a blind eye on any shortcoming. If you look at our new methodology, you will find that we will strengthen the monitoring. We will strengthen the checking of progress. We are not credible if we don't deliver on that. It was a very strong request from our member states, and we will have to deliver on that. The positive element for the Western Balkans is that if you deliver, we should also be ready to deliver.
Where does the EU see a solution to a situation where the key institutions of the judicial system in Montenegro are run by the acting officials or are in deep crisis, such as Supreme State Prosecutor, Court Council, Constitutional Court? Where do you see a solution for that?
These are exactly the kind of issues that I raised also with the Prime Minister, where there is quite a bit to do. And therefore work should be advanced, should be speeded up. But for that, I understand he will also need the support of the opposition. So it is on these areas where progress will have to be done very quickly.
They said that they will talk about the third term of the President of the Supreme Court. That's the issue that was also raised. What do you say on that? Can they convince you that that was right?
We haven't discussed that.
Okay. We have entered the election year with unreformed electoral legislation and unsolved affair Koverta, as well as with the essentially yet unsolved affair Snimak, which was the object of your reports in the previous time. To what extent can this fact complicate the election process? Considering the fact that the election process and the regularity of the elections have been issued for years.
That's another issue that we have briefly discussed, that of course for the elections, the electoral reform and also for the rule of law, it would be important to pass. So I again encouraged all parties to work for that and to make that happen.
Mm-hmm. There have been several arrests of journalists lately on suspicion for publishing the fake news. Citizens get arrested and fined under accusation, for instance, of assaulting the head of the police, which caused, for instance, the reaction of the US ambassador in Montenegro. What's your position on that?
We are looking very carefully at the freedom of the media, and this was another area which we have highlighted to the Prime Minister, where progress will need to be made. The freedom of media is part of the rule of law conditionalities, so this is a priority to look at.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.